initially wo eko ni lebine wo ye Botiano Solo Monkey Sanctuary niji wo forest reserve komeni wo yo ni lebine for to wo wi shikonjin ke wo ko ni ona ake me ebotemi na to afite ne ke koji na ni yo wo gapo panen na efe no ba read in the press statement ne adafi ne ke ha media. So I start the press statement. This is a press statement by the Gadangbe elites on the indiscriminate degradation and annexation of forest reserves in the Greater Accra region. Fellow media men, the unguarded forest degradation and the deliberate annexation of Gadangbe lands and forest reserves by government officials, chiefs, and other personalities under the pretext of state use is agitating the minds of the Gadangbe youth. The Gadangbe youth is asking several questions and readying herself for the West if these lands are not preserved for the future use by our young generation. The Gadangbe elites, which is a group, has taken this upon itself to take a serious exception to the illegal land grabs and the destruction of the few forest reserves and its ecosystem in the capital city, Greater Accra, which in the future will be called the Gadangbe region. This press statement raises questions about 3 major lands and forest reserves alleged to be annexed, encroached by senior public officials, private citizens, traditional rulers, and requires truthful answers from them. The lands in question are the Solo Monkey Sanctuary at Botiano, where we are now, the Achimota forest, and also the Ramsar site at Sakumono. Fellow pressmen, first of all, the Gadangbe elites in collaboration with the chiefs and people of Botiano are writing to issue an official complaint over the continuous degradation of and the deforestation of the Solo Monkey forest located at Old Botiano in the Ghana South municipality. And today we are within the Monkey Sanctuary. Not only in the forest covered with wawa, odum, sapele, and mahogany trees, it is also at the home to approximately 70 monarch and spot-nosed monkeys, butterflies, birds, snails, and other reptiles. There is a spring located within the forest which originates from a nearby highland and runs through the forest, which gathers in a pool and serves as the main source of water for the indigents of Botiano. Under law, poachers are prohibited to hunt and encroach the forest. Sadly, the Solo Monkey forest is facing degradation as unauthorized estate developers and private citizens are encroaching the forest area, endangering the life of the wildlife here and also destroying the forest. The Solo Monkey forest is all the people of Botiano have, as other sacred forests like it has been encroached, and such forest serves several cultural and spiritual significance for the people here and also for the Gadangbe region. The Solo Monkey forest is also one of the major points of attraction to tourists, especially foreigners from Europe and Americas, who troop in yearly to experience these beauties of nature. But currently, about three of the Odum trees located inside the forest that serves as a point of attraction to tourists and believed to have some cultural and traditional significance have walls built around them. And media men, you could see when you are coming that some of the Odum trees and the Wawa trees are having walls around them, which means they are going to be cut down and be developed by private encroachers. The second issue we have is, which is also sadly and saddening us, is the issue about the Achimota forest. We are saddened by the news making rounds this week concerning the Achimota Forest Reserve, which we call Achimota in Ghana, and alleged complicity of government officials who are grabbing those lands with both hands and feet in the name of supposed legislation, which is the EI 144. The Land Use and Spatial Planning Act, Act 925, 2016, states clearly about procedures of rezoning of public space. Thus, we find it difficult to understand the reason for using EI 144 as a decoy for public officials to allegedly annex Gadangbe lands to themselves. We are also aware of the leak of a document supposed to be the will of the late Kojo Owusu-Efiyi, who is popularly known as John, the immediate past CEO of the Forestry Commission, where larger portions of this land are being willed to his children and other family members. Is it a coincidence that the current CEO of the Forestry Commission was a signatory to the will of the late Sir John? That's a question we are asking. How many acres has he also grabbed for his own family? And how many acres have other senior public officials also grabbed? These are all at the expense of the many Gadangbe youth wallowing in poverty and unemployment. Some of them are sleeping outside because they don't have even a land to live on. And we see our lands being shared by people who have nothing or no link to these lands of ours. Was the executive instrument EI 144 meant purposely to cover up the rot by senior government officials with their connivance with some chiefs and people to our forest lands? What did the Constitution say about forest reserves and how to rezone or deforest those reserves? Does Parliament also have a say in such transactions? These are questions we are asking, and we needed answers from the government. The third issue is about the Sakumono Ramsar site. The government of Ghana has declared 5 coastal wetlands to be Ramsar sites, including the Sakumono Ramsar site. The Sakumono Ramsar site is a wetland of international importance, and it is the only wetland wholly owned by the government and is meant for protecting Sakumono, Tema, and its environs against floods and pollution, for the breeding of fish for the Sakumono Lagoon, as well as recreational activities. The wetland is important for marine and freshwater fish species, including tilapia. It also serves as a stopover for migrating birds, relaxation and feeding grounds for over 70 water-bearing species, as well as breeding grounds for about 300 marine turtle species. Hundreds of local communities formerly rely on the Ramsar site for fishing and farming for their livelihoods. But what do we see now? The major concern of the Gadangbe elite is the annexation and the degradation of the Ramsar site as part of the forest zones for government and its lands by unscrupulous individuals, including officials from government and also traditional leaders. And the question we ask is, don't we have authorities who are in charge of these sites and forest zones? Why won't these individuals focus their attention on other areas and are bent on destroying the Sakumono Ramsar site, which is of spiritual, cultural, and international importance? It is of spiritual importance because as we are going to celebrate Omowo this year, several spiritual activities will be taking place there and other cultural activities will be taking place there. But today, that land is being encroached by persons who think lands should not be preserved but be destroyed. We are questioning the appropriate authorities, including the Environmental Protection Agency, the Forestry Commission, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Office of the President, and the international community in charge of ecosystem to come out clean on the state of these reserves, what they make of it, and whether we should keep them. Because we believe, as Gadangbes and people of areas of such, that such ecosystems should be preserved for the future. We call on the Greater Accra Regional Minister and the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, the Ghana Traditional Council, the Nungwa Traditional Council, and the government to, with immediate effect, look into the land grabbing and sharing allegations and act on them with alacrity. For the purposes of transparency, the government of Ghana, prior to releasing these lands, if it is necessary to release, must consult or have a committee which will have several stakeholders from the Ghana state to manage and transfer these assets without any form of fishy deal, because we suspect several fishy deals in the transfer of those lands. It ends up in public officials and those with authority. It ends up in their pockets and in their wills, and we will not sit and look at these things again. In conclusion, we also appeal to the government to do all it can to preserve the forest and ecosystems in Accra and other parts of the country. The Dodowa Forest, the Shai Hills, the Achimota Forest, the Solo Monkey Sanctuary, the Sakumono Ramsar site, and other reserved sites within the greater Accra region. And we believe if they do so, such reserves will serve the main purpose for which it was left for. Long live the Solo Forest Reserve, long live the Achimota Forest Reserve, and long live the Sakumono Ramsar site. Long live all other reserve sites in the Gadangbe region and other regions across the country. And long live Gadangbe, and long live Ghana. Thank you. None of you of AG, where Shikonji Komeni, Asa, Kefonshina, Mala, Bako, Yogamea, the Ake, Akabafi, Akabumai, ni Akeko Membafi, Beku, Abashileko, Boni yo. Shimene no Naji, Nekeko, New Washine Fe, Abotemi, Koi Abie, Akema Jachame Kume, Ukumele, Man Unupai, Agbene, Amedencha Meke, Menu Wachame, estate developers, ne, Eafe Kume, ni Afite, wo ko ni wo yo ne ko ne fe ni wo yo ne ko lo yemi fa yemi agbene wo ye ni bipi ne buo wo he hu ebu akutu e ne ha wo wala sha agbene afolo ne keche ne fe ke mamochu wa bia ke maybe alo ne egbe wa aje eko ene wo bio ake Achimota forest ni kashi ne afolo san wo pa fa no ne hwe ashi ke ha ko eniji ko eni ewo na ashi agbene wo yen wo Solo Monkey Sanctuary ebi ene leji Botiano ne le hu wo bi e ba mi wo na ake afolo shipon san ne afolo lulu na ake mfite kone oba na adujin pi ye kone mi kolo koko mele hu ye bi e okpoe lo ke ni bi ye bi e shife mi e afolo che ne be na afolo ke kolo ne pi shi mami na me ya wa bi ake ngba amaje won follow ene me fe ni wo fite wonu alo wo fite wo che ni wo yo ye bi alo wo fite wo ma aka ife ni chu yo wala yo je me wo follow che pe wo fite wala wo bi maji acheme wo ma onupa ka gbene onupa ni kamo luchu mo ni kwo wo ne ke wo ko ni bi na fe na ke afe ke fonshi ke ha ma aka mi na me fi oye eja aka me ye gbeji anu to ni kanshi ake sani amebu ne ke ko ne me fe nunu wa anu ni ehiji wona ake EI 144 ku hu eba ke fon Achimota forest no ni be aba follow na ya follow na ele hu number of acres na ke fonshi je no po ya follow 3 times the numbers liji ebote individuals akotokuya me amenja men follow ke ha menye me obi ake ene me fe ma ke meni ko environmental protection agency forestry reserves ke meni hwefe ameba ha wo heto papa kame ba wo eto papa le be Gadangbe oblantae wo ba teshi eja ke wo shiko je fe ya obla hie le no na ba fe don ka wo na ayi ko kan wo ba kamo he na me kamo wo ke maji acheme ke ma onupae ke me ni ko ne ke agencies na fe ano ake amefe na mebu wo ne ke ni bi na me fe he ko ni me ni kira wo no ni ba ba amana no ko papa ake wo shi wo se papa ye twani o manye dwa bra
Emeji Solowe abusuya penyi ngbeji ne komi odanu the first kankla mada wo blash ke ha we moju ni echon ye ke bi government ke ba e bana wo nupa ye ni e ka metash dana feel no ni sana fe ye ke kuji ni ka be je ni sana e ka ba sani ye ni echon ni ri je ne ke kuji na no e ke na ko nupa ye no atashi ni e ka me ni awa bona fe ni ejola ba wona wo shi bana ba nu aga ke mo ko ya dumo ko ake mo ko ya wi no ko fe se e gba wona e wo won pamla lo e fai e fia na ma koshi pon keje ke be she na ke no chemeni ame bomode aka mba ya ye na ya kokeje na ka woje eke to enjole eba enyo no ko na afiti ole won pamla lo e fai na me ka ya ba wo ni bona fe he ni ko na abuka mo fe amba kwe ke wole sanafo na afo bona fe no wo boy wo fo he bona fe ni bi ko me akabaton ni bi ha wo ni wo se won wo baton me ko shi ni bi ni ya no bi ana wo fe won ame ho ame no shi fe se wo ke ameba ni wo tun ame ko e na abu ye na je shikeje na ma jeje me ni wo ko no fi anu aye mu twa no manya ba
ya ga wo ma ni bi ni wona ni ga ga wo bi kuma ino be ko ko na yin ma ba to be o bi ni ba se pe ni amba fe to am cheme ba tu no ko ni se na mo be ya ga wo so lo ko ni be ko fi oni nko ni amra lo ba e ke planning bag me ya ke e be ba tu no ko e be fi ona machine am tie boni won pa me ba ga sana me ba ni am yo tumo na ba tu am ba kwasi bia ne won na ga o man bia no wo fo ni woni ni ya ko mi ni Botiano man ni no won na gba ga Botiano ko ni yo Botiano no atobi Botiano ni ka bia ne ni afo woda ni ko ne si Botiano be Botiano e pa ke wona ko ne aga solo ko ne no ato Botiano man na ga Botiano lo won pa ma lo fai ni bayi ni ga ya ba wo man bia wo be wale ko no ba tu no ko ai bia no ko won tu ngo be won ta o sira o mo e mam no kamla lo gemla ni ba fu ma ya fa ba wo be wo yi ba kwata
for an outsider to encroach on the land without the consent of any family member. Have you thought of that? Is any family member behind all this?
What I will say right now is, you know, before anybody comes to your house, you have to see who is in charge. So we know and we think if anything will happen like that, there must be someone behind. But for we, the elders, we have to strike and see if the thing is not good, then we have to put and stop to it. So that's what we are trying to do now. Any place that have encroached by some of us, we have to put a stop to it.
I see. And also let me ask, what is the future plan for this land?
The future plan for this land is we have this forest from our grandfathers, and they told us, even the chief who was installed from 93 told us that our grandfather warned him not to even cut a rope to tie a firewood. That is why he also is trying that there's no one or anybody should encroach any of this land. He wants to leave the land as it was before he came. So we also have to support him and do what he asks us to do.
Okay, so right now that some people have already encroached on the land, are you going to compensate them and take the land off?
If the place are for compensation, we have to compensate. If it's not to, then we have to demolish and take our forest back.
Thank you.
Biana masumoni makpa wo game afai. Wo fe akeko onyami fie no ko le kwe ni no na fie ni hi. Bo onyo okwo no no ka fie ono. Ile akeke mo ko ma chude fie before bo okwo aka chude nga mi unda mama le ke chude ko. Mi to game akwa sempe bi bena mejenshi. Bena tateshi ke je sempe ni mena sempe jo to mo aso ota. Ni mo fia monta wanu. Wonu pa ni amefe 1 and 2 fe ka onye ona benije onye ochi obenko an obi o onu pa ya ga tenye fe te ni sempe jo ka me cho onye keke nye onye afe eke efia ejo ka ke no konfite ye gan beno ba na wonu pa no ya fi me ase no ha ni gan jo Ghana John F. Jawon by no. You are Mapa fight. Mokoshi Ejo, Nyakwa, Benny Fay, ni Jembe Joe. Nini wonya ba fe yen no ege wo fe wo mo na abuku me koniga aya ye ni sane ahye twa no manya ba
ba ku ni ba e wo da ne e mo fe